Hello, how is everyone doing? It is your fallen angel back with another video. Today, we are continuing the series, the playlist on Brahmacharya, and we're specifically going over lust in men and in women. So without further ado, let us just jump right in. Though a lady appears to be gentle and soft, yet she becomes rude, rough, and distinctly masculine when she becomes angry. The feminine grace vanishes when she comes under the influence of wrath, indignation, fury, and resentment. So guys, we understand this, right? Everything works in duality, right? Even though a woman may portray to you very soft feminine characters, they are very passionate beings, very emotional beings. With this being said, they can be very loving. They can have extreme levels of love. They can also have extreme levels of jealousy and hate because this operates in duality, right? If they're happy, then they could operate in very, very happy operations. If they're scorned, upset, or things of that nature, the emotion can dictate their temperament. Have you ever seen women fighting in the streets? Women are more jealous than men. They have more moha and passion also. They are 8 times more passionate than men. Women have more power of endurance. They are more emotional. Males are more rational. So with this immense amount of passion that they receive, whether this be due to the right hemisphere brain, the estrogen, the duality of man and woman, this passion is so immense that it's passionate on both ends. It's passionate in the terms of love. It's also a passion in terms of hate as well. We see this in duality. Everything in this cosmos operates in duality. Though females are more passionate, yet they have more power of restraint than males. After enticing men, they keep quiet. The real culprit is man. Only he is aggressive. Man is the aggressor. Masculine is the active. Feminine is the passive. With that being said, guys, we all have seen that most of the time women, if they are shooting their shot, that's the terminology of when a woman is trying to get your attention or trying to get your attention, whether this be a mating call or trying to seek your validation. She would just politely look at you or maybe aggressively look at you for long periods of times until you make the move, right? Because the feminine is passive. Now, we do have in this society women walking up to men and asking them for their numbers and things of that nature. That happens as well. But for the most part, women would just stare at you. This is because women are passionate, but they also have good restraint as well. They expect that men to be active and for the man to be the aggressor. It is he who tastes the forbidden fruit first. He is active. He goes out of control and loses his intellect, power of understanding and judgment when he is under the grip of passion and becomes the sporting lapdog of woman. When once man falls into the trap or net spread out by woman, there is no escape for him. Now, guys, we've seen this in many cases, right? Many cases where men are chasing women that are just downright not good for them, right? And they become slaves to their lust. You ever heard the term that guy is whipped by that woman? Well, this term, pussy whipped or whipped, this is the same ideology because as the aggressor, they're the ones that are supposed to be rational. They're the ones supposed to be using this neocortex effectively, the left hemisphere brain, to their advantage. But the limbic system and the reptilian brain takes over and they become so fueled by desire and lust and the physical body that they can't use their rational brain, right? Woman is passive. She only tempts and deludes man. She inflames and excites the heart of man. She smiles and glances and then keeps quiet. She waits, the passive. But man is the aggressor. He is the real culprit. So like we gave the previous example, a woman might smile, give you nice glances, things of that nature, but never will she be the aggressor or the one to start it, right? Man is the one to start, whether this be the conversation, the escalation, things of that nature. This is for the man. He, in this instance, is the real culprit in this game of lust. Man is the worst culprit. He is the real seducer. He is the aggressor. He is the violator. All women would have become miras, madalasas, and sulabahas had it not been for this vilest nature of man. He must be corrected and molded first. So it is essential that as a man, you learn that to view women as a daughter, as a sister, as a mother, you cannot view them as objects. You can't view them as lustful beings, even though your body is telling you so. Your limbic system and your reptilian brain within the triune is overpowering you because your desire and passions are so immense. You have to be well versed in Brahmacharya. This is how you won't get deceived ever, right? There are many men that are living lives now because of their past regressions, past mistakes, that they would wish they can go back and change, wish they can go back and choose differently. But they couldn't because they were slaves to their lust. Only after did they learn, right? I give out this example many times. I tell people, I can give you the information, right? I could tell you the burner is hot. Don't put your hand near the burner. But there's some people that have to put their hand near the burner to know that it's hot. This is what we call experience. And experience isn't a bad thing, but this is just the truth. Some people just have to figure it out on their own with experience. Even the words and the utmost experience from other people, these things will not be enough to correct action. Some people must experience things firsthand, especially men. He has not got so much self-restraint as women have. Women are 8 times more passionate than men, but possess 8 times more strength of control over the sexual impulse or the sexual urge. This is the weakness of man. Though he may be physically and intellectually more powerful than a woman, he is not as in control of his impulses as a woman is. Women flatter, coax, cajole you. They are experts in the art of blandishment. They have made you a slave by their winning expressions, actions, youthful charms, coquettish glances, gestures, and smile. A considerable portion of your life has been wasted pursuing the phantoms of flesh. Think about all the young men we know who their end goal is to pursue either a high body count or to chase as much tail as possible. While countlessly these moments are fleeting away, these moments to grow spiritually, these moments to live with your family are going away, these moments to enjoy with your friends are fleeting away because they want to chase the phantoms of the flesh. The blandishments they've been seeing by women, they've been flattered, coaxed, cajoled, and made a slave by their lust, now becoming their lapdog because they are not using their rational mind to their advantage. They're not looking for a mother for their future kids. They're looking for someone to see as lust, right? Now, this is why the marketplace is the way it is. Women nowadays do not want to become mothers. They want to look better. They want to use their sexual gifts, their body as a tool against men, whether this be lip injections, BBLs, breast implants, right? This is all for the phantoms of the flesh. Men are now seeking women who have bigger busts, bigger butts, but they're not seeking character. They're not seeking temperament. They're not seeking, would this woman make a good mother for my future children? They're not thinking with this head. They're thinking with the head below. And we see where this gets them. Broken families, bastard children's. All these negativities, these degeneracies that are being spewed by the aggressor man, right? Now, if the man was strong enough to see past this, the woman would follow, right? But this is not what society has put out for us right now. If you go on any Instagram page right now, it is immense amount of lust, right? Immense amounts of lust used against you to destroy this nation. to destroy the youth of this society. They use this type of degeneracy to separate man and woman. Women appear charming only for a short time, but turn destructive of health and happiness soon after. Beware of these temptresses who entangle you by their blandishments. Pass your remaining days, at least on the holy banks of the Ganga, in silent japa and meditation. Now, for many of you, you can't go to the holy banks of Ganga in silent, right? But what you could do is you could meditate. You could attune yourself with a higher spiritual practice. This is things you can do to make sure you aren't a slave to the phantoms of the flesh, a slave to lust, a slave to your desires, but instead a receiver of good, a transmitter of good, a true, meaningful person in this cosmos. The scorpion has venom in its tail, the cobra in its fangs, the mosquito in its saliva, and the scandalmonger in his tongue. Women has poison arrows in her eyes. She sends the message of passion to the lustful youth and pierces their heart through the poison arrows that dart from her piercing glances. But she cannot do any harm to a Viveki who is always on the alert and who sees the doshas of a woman and knows the Satchitananda, pure nature of Atman. Like we said, guys, these glances, these looks are well used to deceive you, well used to pierce your heart, well used to entice that flaming desire within you. That is why they use the makeup they do. They use the mascara they do, the eyeliner, everything to make the eyes pop out, blush, to replicate the same look that happens during copulation. These looks are all to entice your heart and really to steal it right out of you if you do not know any better. This is not to say all women are evil, but this is to say that you must remain in a rational mindset. You cannot be a slave to your urges, because you will see what happens when you are a slave to your urges. Nothing good will come out of it. There are tongues and telegraphic instruments in the eyes of young passionate ladies. They send their love shafts and love messages through their smiling glances to passionate young men, and thereby allure and bewitch them. Those young men who have no discrimination, excited by these love messages and become a prey to lust, they become a pleasure deer or a sporting lapdog of ladies. Though they possess academic education and hold high position and title, what a shame reason will intellect vanish altogether. Now, as a man, your greatest tool is your ability for reasoning and discrimination. Your ability to discriminate is your greatest tool. Your logical brain to discriminate is your greatest tool, right? We've seen so many men become lapdogs, pleasure deer, because of lust. Think of the men that are so tall. Doesn't matter how tall you are, 6 foot plus, 6'5", 7 foot plus, 300-pound men, 250-pound men, full of muscle. Titles that we are holding high positions, gangsters, doctors, political aspects, lawyers. But all these men can get manipulated, right? So at the end of the day, and rich men as well, right? At the end of the day, it's not about your title, not about your height, not about the academic education that you possess, not about the money you possess. It is about your heart and willpower and your ability to not get manipulated by the physical phantoms. That is stronger than any title you can hold, right? Whether this be height, education, money, wealth, health, anything. It comes down to the 2 B's. I always talk about the 2 B's. Brain and balls. Okay? It is about brain and balls in this earth. If you know how to use those two, there is no pinnacle you can't reach. There is no difficulty you can't overcome if you use those two intertwined together. Oh, aspirants, do not be very familiar with any woman You should not sacrifice a noble ideal of life for the sake of pleasing a bewitching woman. Think of the composition of the body. Keep the mental image of the dead body of a woman or a skeleton whenever passion troubles you. This will help you ease you at your lust. This will help you understand that the body is a decaying thing. Whatever piece of lust you see is a momentary thing. This momentary lust, this nerve tingling you feel when you ejaculate, these are all momentary. You must think about the future and well-being of your children, the future and well-being of you, the future. You must think of life as a chess game. At least 3 steps for some of you, 5 steps for the men that want to be at a higher pinnacle. It should be at least a minimum of 5. And beyond that, if you want to get to where you really want to be at, life is chess, and you must learn it well. Do not allow these lusts to consume you. You will slowly gain strength to subdue the passion. Vairagya will slowly dawn. The cause for attraction towards women is the presence of vasanas, or subtle desires in the mind. Wipe them out. There will be no attraction. Those who have renounced woman and money have renounced the world. And what's oddly specific about this is when you renounce women and money, this is exactly what comes to you, because you attract what you aren't chasing. What you chase will be reflected, will be repelled against you. But when you are not chasing, it will be attracted to you, right? This is why when men go on semen retention, they get jobs, they get women attraction, they get all sorts of things coming their way, because that is the gifts you will receive. But it's essential to understand you have to be prominent and diligent with the gifts you receive. With that being said, guys, this has been another video in our playlist of Brahmacharya, speaking on the lust of men and women. Feel free to check out the other videos in this playlist. Also, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below. Check us out on Patreon, Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, things of that nature. This has been your fallen angel, and I am out.